He's ENT in the building. I'm doing this interview solo. We got Rick Campanelli. Like what we're doing, hit the subscribe button. Look at these shades. Pick them up over there from Paul at Basic Eyewear.
Hey everybody, Rick Campanelli here, and I am coming up next on I Only Touch Greatness, the podcast.
Looking for the most beers on tap, great steaks, great staff? Head over to the John B. Pub.
We got the best beers, steaks, chicken wings, nachos in town. Come see us at the John B. Pub.
The John B. Pub, the best bar in town. Come sign up for our football pool. Say Haze sent you.
The number one sports podcast in Vancouver with Ryan Haze and Big Mike.
Ryan Haze and Big Mike. I Only Touch Greatness podcast.
This is
Eric.
I Only Touch
Hey,
Greatness
Ryan, how are you?
podcast.
Good, how you
with
doing?
Ryan Haze
I'm
and
great,
Big
man.
Mike.
I'm great. Nice setup you have over there.
Going live.
Oh, thanks. This is like my backup corner. Like I just last week I do one weekend in one spot, one weekend in the other. My other half of the room is a Canuck shrine. It's really
Nice, man. I love it. I love it. You love sports, right?
yeah, definitely do. I'm a Canucks season ticket holder. And
Nice.
BC Lions season ticket holder, and then a Seahawks fan.
See,
Obviously.
so you head down to the Seahawks games
Yeah.
as much as you can. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, there's three of
Yeah,
us.
it's a
Three of us.
couple hour drive.
Yeah, 2 hours.
Yeah,
2 hours from basically Vancouver to
good
Seattle.
teams out there.
Pardon me?
You know, I was saying you got some good teams out there on the West Coast.
Yeah, unlike those Maple Leafs. So what makes you hang on? Are you a Vikings fan?
Yeah, yeah. I just happen to have this on. Yeah, I love the Vikings. I don't know. I think I started liking the Vikings when I was in high school, and that's a long, long time ago. Anthony Carr.
The old Randy
Jeez.
Moss days were pretty good.
Yeah. Randy Moss came in.
Pepper.
Yeah, after I'd been a fan for years. Even like Chris Carter came in after I was a fan. They've had some really great receivers, as you know, if you follow the team. Like they've had some amazing wide receivers.
So born in Ontario, what was life like growing up for you?
Born in Hamilton, home of the Tiger Cats. I know you're a Lions fan. I'm a diehard Tiger Cats fan. Two great teams, actually, if you think about it, in the history of those teams and those franchises. BC has been there and won it a number of times. Hamilton has been there and won it a number of times, you know, going back to the golden age of the CFL. But yeah, life growing up in Hamilton. You know, it's a good city growing up in Hamilton. You know, hard-working people come from Hamilton, blue-collar town. Nothing was handed to us growing up. You know, I come from a family of six Italians, my parents and 4 kids. I was the youngest kid. So nothing was ever really handed to us growing up. And we always worked hard for what we wanted. And I was grateful for that. I was grateful for working hard at something and not just being given something in life. It built a lot of character, and I'm so grateful that was the approach back then. You know, yeah, you know, the youngest of 4 got a lot of hand-me-downs. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
But no, we're a close-knit family. We still are. I lost my mom close to 6 years ago now, but you know, still very close with my older siblings and my dad, who's in his mid-80s right now. Yeah, I wouldn't want it any other way.
Did you play any other sports growing up? Or?
Oh man, we played every sport growing up.
Yeah.
Every single
Canadian,
sport that there was to play, we played it.
Yeah.
And that's the way we did it as kids. We didn't have iPads or computers or video games. We went to the park and we played. If it wasn't football one day, it was baseball the next day, basketball, hockey, soccer, tennis. We played it all.
Nowadays, you don't really see the kids out there in the street after school playing hockey like back in our day.
You know, the parks would be packed with kids after school back in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
And times have just changed. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, whatever it is. But we're so fortunate to have been kids in that era because we got all that action, the activity, the exercise, the fresh air. And as look at you, man, you love sports. I love sports.
Yeah.
We were able to play sports every day during school, after school. It was nonstop sports. And man, it was a great upbringing.
Yeah, and it's the Canadian way, of course, to be out there playing.
Yeah.
Well,
especially in the wintertime, lacing up the skates, throwing on a snowboard.
For the East Coast, that's pretty easy though. You guys have ice rinks in your backyard and stuff.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, no, we get slush.
You get slush. Oh, the mild weather out there for sure. Yeah. Oh yeah. As soon as that snow fell and it dropped below zero, my dad was out there in the back with the hose and he was making us a skating rink. Now, mind you, it was on a slant because our backyard went down into a slant into our garden, his garden, but we still loved it. And I remember my next door neighbor had this little hill. It was a little tiny hill. It probably came out to my shoulders, but we strapped on our little plastic skis and we had hours of fun going down that hill.
Crazy.
That's how I learned to ski and snowboard.
Okay. I mean, yeah, all we get out here is maybe once every 10 years our little lake in a town here. And I live in the city, so it's not even a lake, it's like a swamp. But,
right.
So it's like it's pretty much the swamp freezes over up the street. You go skate on there every 10 years. But,
so you're playing a lot of ball hockey then out in Vancouver?
Yeah, it was always street hockey growing up.
It was always street hockey, ball hockey.
Yeah, you'd have 10, 20 people out there on the street playing street hockey in our cul-de-sac. And
awesome.
You would do it all night long until nighttime, and then it got dark. Some days we were up before school playing hockey out the street. And
wow, that's awesome, man. That's the best.
Yeah,
you still play?
I play beer league. I'm pretty much.
Yeah.
I might get into this here. I'm kind of the dirty player out there. Because I'm only like 5 feet tall, so I'm look like Brad Marchand, and I play like Brad Marchand.
Yeah,
I'm out there, and everybody's trying to kill me. That's why my feet's been crooked so many times because I'm out there playing. And I like to
like a Ty Domi. You sound like a Ty Domi as well.
Yeah, I mean,
solid little guy. Yeah. Solid. You gotta beware of those guys.
Yeah, because I'm like 5 feet tall. No, I'm like 5'5", but so I'm 5'5", about 150, and I'm just like, I'm always good with the hands. Like I can do the Michigan goal. I can try to in beer league. That's usually my teammates always give me shit though because I'm celebrating after beer league goals and trying to do the little cross goal. And
hey, why not? You got to celebrate, man. You got to celebrate the goals.
And I always go John Cena. You can't see me.
Yeah.
And the goalie hates it. So my beer league career is pretty much a lot of penalties.
No, man. Listen, there's nothing wrong with celebrating a goal because listen, we're not getting any younger, and those goals might be few and far between. If you know what I'm saying. In the next few, you gotta do it while you can. You gotta celebrate while you can, and good for you, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite sports franchise?
Sorry, say again.
Do you have a favorite sports franchise?
Oh man, I like the history in a team, the history in a franchise. Well, we talked about the Tiger Cats earlier. The Tiger Cats go way back. My Nono and Nona were going to see Ticat games in Hamilton years ago when they came over from Italy. And, it continued with my dad and my mom and having seasons tickets. And then me at a time there purchasing seasons tickets. So I love those franchises that go way back. Over 100 years. The Cubs, the Red Sox. I love the Canadians franchise. I love the Green Bay Packers franchise. All the older teams that have history and have dominated in their own sports and had these mammoth runs.
Yeah.
And continue to have these mammoth runs, like 10 or 20 years after the fact. those are my favorites. They might not necessarily be my favorite teams that I root for, but I love those franchises.
You think of somebody like, I'd say Detroit, that maybe went on like I'm not a real fan of them, but the hell of a franchise to go like, I can't, my exact stat won't be right, but it's like 25 years or something, making the playoffs every year for 23 years. Or
you're talking about the Red Wings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not really my favorite franchise, and not even a one I like, but you just the way that a franchise like that is old as well, and they've cemented themselves as always a threat.
Yeah.
Or New
I know,
England
dude. I love the Red Wings as well and what they're all about, and the players that they've had throughout the years. Well, wait a minute. Original 16? No.
Yeah.
They were, right?
Yeah.
So they've been around. They know how to do it in Detroit. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, they love their hockey.
And even with the Tigers, and the Lions and all their teams, the Pistons, they it's a great sports city. I don't know if you've ever been out there. It's a rough city. You don't want to go down the wrong way on a dark street. And I did some time there. I worked there for a couple of summers. But it's a great sports town, no doubt about it. Great history, great franchises, and it's home of Motown, right? You can't go wrong with great music like that, too.
Yeah, and I got a friend that's actually listens to all my episodes that's out there in Detroit. So shouts out to him.
How many episodes have you done, by the way? You've been doing this for a while?
We started because of COVID. My actual start of my company date on record is May 29th of last year. Okay, so and we have
coming up on a year.
350 episodes.
What? That's amazing.
And like most of them are either big name people, or I consider you a big name guest. But we've had like Tommy Chong's, and I had Carol Baskin on this last week, and Ken Shamrock.
Wow, Carol Baskin?
Yeah, and then Ken Shamrock came out today.
Right. Man, you're doing great. Congratulations. That's amazing.
Some other people you might know. I mean, we had Cabby on the street on.
Cabby? Yeah.
Cabby Richards. Yeah. We've had him on the broadcast.
Oh, he's a big sports guy for sure.
Yeah. So he's been on. And then we do a lot of prospects, like NHL prospects or NFL prospects, because we're trying to establish friendships with these people before they go be a star. So right now, I don't really care if we get a couple hundred views per episode. We've established a relationship with people that now, when they're in the pros, they might actually do us another episode.
Hey, they might be MVP of the league one day.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, there's a guy named Connor Bedard that's going to be the next Crosby. And he's from Vancouver and got granted exceptional status and everything. And we just had him on last week.
Good for you, man. That's great.
His first interview he's done, like other than with like an NHL.
Wow, good for you. That's great. And so is it basically sports talk or anything goes?
That's one thing. Like everybody has a podcast these days, and like you have to find a lane. So everybody is choose their lane. Some are all Canucks, or some are all Toronto. And I didn't want to corner myself into one position. So I'll interview everything from actors to prospects, TV shows.
Good for you, man.
And why turn away somebody when you can meet them? You never know who they know. Why close the door without having to?
Exactly. No, that's a good attitude, man. That's a good approach, and that's exactly the way I would do it. Yeah. Never say no to anybody or anything, right? You never know.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite interview that you ever did?
Oh, man. I got a whole ton of them. But no, like one of my faves of all time, obviously, the Chili Peppers. I love the Chili Peppers. I love alt rock. I always have since I was a kid. So when the Chili Peppers came into Much, now I had interviewed them a few times, but not as a whole group coming in, all four of them. So when they all came in to Much Music for a live at Much, it was like I was in heaven, man. I was in heaven. I think, by the way, just came out, that album. They were promoting that album. and we did a Live at Much. The fans were all in the environment. The front windows were open. Unfortunately, they didn't perform that day, but we had them for an hour, and it was one of my highlights for sure in terms of bands and musical people. Now, when it comes to actors, gosh, I've been a big fan of film and TV since I was a kid as well. You know, I love going to the theaters and getting lost in a story. I haven't done that in a long time because no theaters are open anymore,
exactly.
due to COVID. But yeah, like interviewing actors that I grew up watching, like Tom Hanks or Henry Winkler, or you know, Clooney. You know, these guys all started their careers on television. Clooney with the ER, Winkler with Happy Days, Tom Hanks, Bosom Buddies, and then they just catapulted. Their careers catapulted once they got onto the big screen, and they never looked back. All these guys are Academy Award winners. All these guys have done amazing things, and it's such an honor when you. I don't know. Wait a minute. Let's go back. Winkler. I don't think Winkler's won an Academy Award, but he's done very well for himself. But you get to meet these people. Now you don't. You watch them for years, but then you get to meet them and interview them, and it's like, it's surreal, man. It's surreal. You know, this is the Fonz.
Yeah.
It's like Richie Cunningham. It's like, come on,
or
man.
it's like, this is Rick Campanelli.
But, oh no. Rick Campanelli's down here. I'm talking. These people are way up here.
Yeah.
But no, you know. But at the end of the day, we're all equal. Everyone's the same. These people have just done very well in their chosen fields. They keep gravitating to these amazing scripts that they choose on the big screen, and they keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then at the same time, you know, I don't know if you know much about these guys, but all these guys that I mentioned, they're just down to earth, humble human beings, normal, like you and I. Like they're not asked to be put on a pedestal. They're not looking or asking for praise. These guys are just normal, everyday guys that have done extremely well because they're extremely talented in their fields. So yeah, those are just a few names. And listen, man, I like you, I love talking to someone. I love getting the best out of someone. I love asking questions. I'd rather ask a question than answer a question. Like I said earlier, I was the youngest of my family growing up, and at the dinner table every night, I was the one that was always listening, because the youngest one doesn't have much to say. Yeah. I have a lot to learn though from my parents and my older siblings. So I was the one that was always listening, and that's the way I preferred it. You know, I'd rather be the interviewer than the interviewee.
One thing I found is you establish like a relationship with these players, and now for the next 10 years, I'm drafting them in my pools, picking them, because you have a fan. We do a lot of UFC. And so a lot of the UFC fighters, so you get them, and then every now and then you see them come on the TV. You're like, okay, this is our guy. We got this guy. We're betting on this guy.
That's great. That's great. It's great to form those relationships early in someone's career like that. Yeah.
We've done a lot of rap legends too.
Oh yeah, good man. Well, if you've done 350 shows in less than 365 days, you've done like a show a day averaging. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah, we do. We record Thursday, Friday, Saturday mornings, and we try to go say 5. We try to get at least 3 or 4 a day. So we spend three hours a day doing it, kind of thing.
So you got a whole team out there.
It's only me and one other person.
What? Streamlining it. That's the way it goes these days.
Me and my co-host, and I mean, there is support people like me and the co-host are the main two that do this. He could make it, but me and him are the main two that do it. And then I also have, like, if he's not here and it's say a rap person or something, I bring in my buddy from Kansas City or my buddy from Oregon to be the guest host. So then that helps them promote too, myself.
That's great, man.
Region.
So why did you want to do this to begin with?
Well, I used to be a DJ, like a
DJ?
I used to be an A&R and a DJ back in my 20s. And
Yeah.
so, like, I've won a few West Coast Hip Hop Awards, and I've
Oh,
won
nice, man.
mixtape of the year and stuff. I never rapped.
Wow.
I never rapped. I was just DJ, and my Dominican friends rap. So,
Right.
they would rap, and I would take their songs and go do stuff. And then it's just so many rappers. Everybody wants to be a rapper in music somehow, and it's so hard to actually get anywhere in it.
Yeah.
That I kind of just gave up, and my Dominican friends moved back to Dominican.
Yeah.
So it made it harder, and there was no Zoom meetings. You couldn't do Zoom meetings in 10 years ago, and I kind of just put it on the back burner, focused on buying a condo. But then, now that I got the condo, we're sitting in quarantine, all lockdown, running out of things to do. I mean, my friend gets me on this Zoom meeting, and I'm like, why are we not interviewing people?
It's amazing. Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that's a great idea. They went off, but my three friends went off and started their own podcast and did it on their own. And I'm like, well, fuck it, because they didn't want guests. They wanted to just talk amongst themselves.
Just talk.
They don't want guests on the show. So I'm like,
oh,
okay,
wow.
I want guests. Then I branched off into my own. And
good for you, man. That's great.
350-ish episodes later, and it's a real company out here. I don't make any money, but it's certified as a real company.
No, listen, man, you don't need to make any money. If you're passionate about what you're doing, you're succeeding. You know, you love what you do, right?
Yeah.
You can tell you're into it, man. That's the main thing.
And
that's the main thing in life.
Build a resume that you can look back to one day and then be like, holy shit, this is what
man.
I had.
Like Tommy Chong, that guy's a legend. You interviewed him. That's so cool. That's so cool.
Off the top of my head, like some more big names, like again, Carol Baskin was recently. We've done all the UFCs, like Kenny Florian, Tito Ortiz.
So did Carol Baskin?
Kurt Angle. I do a lot of wrestlers. I've done Kurt Angle. Godfather, Jake the Snake Roberts.
That's awesome, man. That's great.
Like, I don't really have a lane, and I just take whoever I can, and I want it to be a big name. That's called I Only Touch Greatness for a reason.
Yeah, I love that name.
Because, and that's what all my old albums were called back in the day when I was...
Okay.
So I kept the same brand. I always wanted to stay kind of the same brand. And just...
Good for you, man.
Yeah.
You got something good going on here. This is great.
And this is turning into an interview about me here. I got all these questions for you.
I do have to bring up the fact, because I'm staring at that Seahawks logo and that jersey back there. I do have to bring up the fact that, listen, man, I thought your team was going to be going so far this past season, but they just, and I got buddies that are huge Seahawks. I got buddies from Seattle that are living in Toronto now that are huge, diehard Seahawks fans, and they saw it coming. They saw the choke coming.
Yeah. The way they started, Russell Wilson was throwing touchdowns like crazy.
Yeah.
The first half of the season, then all of a sudden, boom,
they're unstoppable.
Right down, the Seahawks switched and started to run the ball more.
I feel for you, Seahawks fans. That's what I was gonna get there. I just feel for you guys, man, because you've been through a lot.
So what was it like for you when you finally got, or when you were awarded that job at Much Music?
Well, is
that what you always wanted to do?
You know, leaving, and I was just talking to my wife about this the other day. I was graduating from university, and I took phys ed at Brock in St. Catharines, and I needed my next avenue. And it was either, like, when you're taking phys ed, for me, it was either becoming a teacher, like my older siblings were all teachers, or it was some sort of therapy, like physiotherapy, massage therapy. So yeah, I actually had applied to massage therapy school in Toronto, almost paid my tuition for the year, and I win this contest at Much Music. And I thought, okay, instead of going through massage therapy school, I won this contest at Much Music, and I'm going to see what this is all about. I loved Much Music. I watched Much religiously as a kid. Music was my life. I ate, breathed, slept, drank music. It was all music, all kinds of music, all genres. Like I said earlier, I'm the youngest of 6, and my family members were listening to all sorts of music. My parents were into the crooners like Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Bobby Darin, and then my older siblings were into everything. My brothers were like Rolling Stones, the Beatles, the Who, Bowie, and my sister was more pop.
And
but
being
pop,
the youngest,
pop was cool.
And being the
What's
youngest,
that?
you weren't able to control the stereos in the house. You had to listen to everybody's.
I did. And back then we only have one TV, so
yeah,
the person in charge gets it. But no, you're right. The day I was able to buy my own little portable stereo was the best day of my life, because I can start buying my own cassettes and start listening to my own music. Although I loved their music, I loved all music, but now I sort of got it into my own music, and I saw my own niche and my own groove. And so to make a long story short, I knew by watching Much Music, I loved the music video. I loved even more what the VJs were doing. I was so fascinated with these people were up to in between videos. Steve Anthony, Erica M., Michael Williams, Christopher Ward, Laurie Brown, Master T. I loved their antics. They're my heroes. Music video, of course, was huge as well, but it was a combination of the two. So
you basically had my dream job.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I definitely applied for the second time the temp thing happened. I definitely applied. Yeah, for the second time.
So it started in 93, and I entered in 93, but I didn't win. Some guy named Ben from Edmonton won.
Yeah, I won it. I applied the year after I seen you go.
So I won the contest, thank God, in 94, and it changed my life. So you entered in 95.
Yeah, I was just really young.
This contest that they had, this temp contest that they had every year, this was like winning the Showcase Showdown on The Price is Right, man. Like you don't only win a car and money and a place to live in Toronto, but you win the opportunity to spend 2 months at Much Music. And as kids growing up back in the 80s and 90s, Much Music, that was the biggest ticket in town, man. Like every time I got home from school, I would put on Much Music to see what was going on. So yeah, I was so fortunate to have won that contest that year. And it didn't mean that you were going to be there forever. It was just for the summer months. And then when the summer of 94 came to an end, I went back to Hamilton. But I knew after spending 2 months there, I just wanted to be there. I was introduced to this magical place, this magical world of television, which I knew nothing about, Ryan. I'm a phys ed grad, and I was going to go on to do other things, different things, not TV related. So I fell in love with that whole world, and I made it happen for myself. I didn't give up. I knew I wanted to be there. I knew a lot about music at the time, and I guess I impressed them with my musical knowledge, which was half the battle. The other half was being on TV and making it seem like I had been on TV for years, but that wasn't the case. I was so nervous and uncomfortable at first because it was all new to me. So it took me a good 6 to 8 months just to find my groove and build up that comfort level. And because the music knowledge was there, I had that. I knew everything about every band and every artist, but it's a different world, as you know, when you're in front of the camera trying to be that same person. And the secret is to be that same person. You don't want to change. You don't want to become a different person, because they're not hiring you to become a different person. They're hiring you to be you. So it was a lot of learning in that first year. That's for sure.
Yeah. I can even put that towards the podcast. It's like, I just try to be myself as much as you can. Because when I'm having to watch what I'm saying and watch what I'm thinking, and maybe I swear once in a while, or like if I gotta actually sit there and think about it, then I'm not being yourself.
That's right. That's right. You want it to be as natural and as organic in yourself. And if a question comes to mind, the question comes to mind. You don't want to be too robotic or too manufactured. And it's listen, man. I was so fortunate at that time because thousands and thousands of us across Canada were vying for those jobs at the time. Yourself, you were entering those contests. You wanted to be that person. Anyone could have been that person. And I praise my lucky stars every day. Like it was a great opportunity, and I ran with it, and I really wanted it to happen. So changed the course, changed my course. That's for sure. Back in the day,
I've done all this stuff from the podcast to music, trying to just make it in the entertainment world. I want to be on Survivor. My goal is to be on Survivor,
nice,
or Bachelor. I mean, but
see, you want to be on those shows. I wanted to host those shows.
Yeah. See, I know that's a great one. And then I think of it like definitely Survivor is what I want to be on, but I would also love to be on The Bachelor and have to choose between 30 hot chicks. So
there was a Bachelor Canada for a while.
Yeah,
that ran for a few years.
I applied for the Bachelor in Paradise Canada. I just did I just did that a couple months ago. So
good for you, man. Bachelor in Paradise Canada version.
Yeah. Which I don't know where
when
we're
does
gonna
that
go.
start?
I don't know, but they started taking applications about a month and a half ago.
Good for you, man. Good luck, man.
I know I applied right away when they did it. I think it would just be fun once I could get onto that main platform. Then I can branch off and meet people.
Once you become a reality star, the world is your oyster. You know that.
Apparently, yeah. Apparently they can do whatever they want now.
That's 2021 for you. It happens. You're on a reality show. You're a star. Yeah, it's that.
Can you tell us about your days at ET and how that went and you enjoyed it?
Yeah, man. Like after close to 11, 12 years at Much Music, you sort of know that you're at the end of the line because you're getting older. It's a young person's game. That's for sure. Being a VJ, so I knew, it was coming to an end. It was a great 11 and a half, 12 years there. And I knew there was going to be a transition. There was going to be a next step. And it's always sad because when something comes to an end, especially something that you know for that long, like that was the only job I knew after university. So it was very sad. The last show on MOD with Leia was I cried, man. It was you don't want to leave, but you have to leave. And I knew ET Canada was the next step. I had already signed the papers like a couple months before saying goodbye at Much Music, so I knew what my next step was. Fortunately, there was a next step. Thank God. But that was a great gig as well because you're leaving Much Music, and every Canadian knows Much Music, but now you're going into a franchise where every American knows, every Canadian, not every Canadian, but this is the granddaddy of them all. This is the granddaddy of all those entertainment shows out there. Yeah. Entertainment Tonight, Mary Hart and John Tesh and all these classic names in entertainment. So to join a brand like that I was so looking forward to it. It was a totally different gig at first because, I was this punk kid from Hamilton, baggy clothes, baseball hats. Now I'm on ET Canada as a host and I'm wearing suits and I got to cut my hair and I got to deliver properly and I have to enunciate. And it was totally different. It wasn't in my wheelhouse, but I was prepared to learn the part because I loved interviewing people, and a big part of that job was interviewing people. So, yeah, it was a good 12 seasons. I spent 12 seasons at ET Canada. Good times.
What would you say is your personal highlight?
Well, there was a ton of travel with ET Canada, and I've got the travel bug. I had it since I was a kid. I still have it to this day. Not able to do any traveling now, but one day we will be able to again cross borders and travel and explore. And discover different cultures. But the highlight, the Cannes Film Festival was a highlight for me. This was the most glamorous of all film festivals. Like TIFF is a great film festival. Don't get me wrong. TIFF is an amazing film festival. Great films come there. Films that one day go on to win Academy Awards. Great actors come there. But there's just something about the Cannes Film Festival on the French Riviera. There's magic in the air, when you're there in Cannes. And so the highlights were going to Cannes. I did, I think, 2 or 3 Cannes assignments, and got to talk to some amazing people, watch some amazing film, and just take in all that Cannes is. But yeah, like I loved doing the junkets. I loved going to the New Yorks, the LAs, the wherevers, and just sitting in a room with an actor and asking them questions. I loved that. I loved that.
What's your favorite movie?
Well, for years I'd been saying Star Wars. The original Star Wars 77 was my absolute all-time favorite movie. But I've got a long list of favorite movies, man. Like a long list of favorite movies. We'd be on here for hours. Maybe we can say that for another segment. It could be just film talk. Like I love film. I love film. I would go I wouldn't just work these festivals. I would go in and be a fan of film, of movie, and I would just watch movie after movie after movie, and I'd be awestruck. I would take it all in. There was never a bad movie for me. Like everyone that's pouring their heart and soul into a film, directors, actors, camera people, everybody, you got to respect that. So yeah, I love everything about that world.
Yeah, I was going through your Instagram and I seen Pamela Anderson putting makeup on you.
Yes.
And geez, that would be one of my dream interviews, knowing that she's from Vancouver. Not even that she's so
Comox, right?
Yeah, not even that. Yeah,
Comox.
just outside of Vancouver. But yeah, not even that she's so beautiful. Just that would be a hell of an interview. I tried. I've been reaching out, trying to find her.
Hey, one day, man, don't give up. Don't give up. Pamela was a big part of ET Canada, especially back in the early days, because there was this thing called CanCon. I think you're familiar with it, Canadian content, and it was a necessity on television back on Much Music, on ET Canada, and Pamela Anderson was one of those larger than life Canadian personalities who was known around the world, So we got to spend a lot of time with Pamela and to taste her world for those few minutes that we were with her.
Yeah.
But she's awesome. She was always a lot of fun and loved doing stuff like that. Like I remember we were at the Junos out east and she was there for the Junos, and we were at a MAC makeup store, and she I don't know, something was going on because, of course, with PETA, she's a strong member, a voice for PETA. So there was a connection there. Anyhow, I picked up some mascara and I said, just go to town on my face. And it made for a pretty cool moment, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, it looked really good. Yeah. Do you have a favorite
but always
sports
a sweetheart.
movie? Or not movie, sorry. Do you have a favorite sports moment?
Oh, man. Favorite sports moment. Oh, wow. Back in Hamilton at Copps Coliseum, it was called Copps Coliseum back in the day. Yeah, they used to have the hockey series with the nations, the Russia-Canada series. Gosh, I forget what they called that.
Canada Cup.
Canada Cup. Yeah. So back in the 80s, when Canada was unstoppable with Gretzky and Lemieux and all the other greats, the list goes on. I was at Copps Coliseum to watch one of the Canada Cups and Canada beating Russia, and that was. Now I was in the top row in the Bob Uecker seats. I was getting a nosebleed up there, but I was still there to witness greatness, and all those amazing hockey players on the same rink at the same time. And not only playing a game of hockey, but they're representing Canada, playing Russia, a rival for years. So that was pretty cool to be there. I still have my ticket to that game. Oh. But even moments when my favorite teams won their respective championships, I like the Dallas Stars, and I was a Minnesota North Star fan before they moved. So I got to stick with my team, Stars, even though Minnesota got another team, as we all know, the Wild. But when Dallas won the Stanley Cup all those years ago, I was at the game before they won the Cup. They were playing Buffalo. They won the Cup in Buffalo, and so that was a huge moment for me for the Stars to win. Other moments, witnessing the Tiger Cats win the Grey Cup, pretty cool. Yeah. My dad and I would travel everywhere. Whenever the Tiger Cats would make the Grey Cup finals, I'd tell my dad, we're going. I don't care how much it costs, where we have to go, even if it's Winnipeg.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going. So yeah, I remember going out in BC. They made the Grey Cup out there. So those are cool moments with your father. When you take him to a sporting event and the team means so much to you. It runs in the family. It runs in your blood. But to end the answer to your question, I love baseball. I really love baseball. I love the great game of baseball. America's favorite pastime. I love getting down to a ballpark in the summertime, even if I'm sitting in the Bobby Uecker seats, cracking open a cold beer and just taking in the sun, taking in the sights, taking in the game of baseball. Many say it's a boring sport or boring game to watch. I absolutely love it. I love every inning. I love every minute of it. There's always something going on. So I got endless stories about sports.
Okay. Well, we'll save that then for the other episode too. Okay, well, I got one more for you, and then we'll just go off the top. Do you have a favorite drink?
Like alcoholic beverage?
Yeah.
Well, I've been drinking a little vino rosso.
Okay.
I'm Italian, so I do like my vino. It just goes with the culture, I guess. Yeah. It goes with the blood. But my favorite drink back in the day was the Caesar.
Okay.
Now, I've developed acid reflux and heartburn over the years, so I got to stay away from Caesars. Unfortunately, Ryan, it breaks my heart. But I used to love a chunky, delicious Caesar, because you can stick anything in there and it's like a meal. It fills you right up. But I would have to say my present day favorite drink, a very simple, like a gin and tonic or a vodka soda. Back to the basics. What about yours, man? I always have to ask the person that asked me that question. I gotta ask that same question back.
Yeah, normally I'm a Corona in the bar. I'll have a Corona in the bar.
With or without the lime?
Without the lime, because too many hands have handled that lime before I got to my beer. So always no lime. I drink Corona in the bar. At home, I usually drink vodka sparkling water.
Nice.
And then tomorrow is my 90th day not drinking or smoking cigarettes. So
not 90 days, good for you.
Yeah, I didn't quit because I have a problem. I just quit because I'm taking a break trying to get the summer body. But so
yeah, man, the summer.
Yeah, because I know I'm going to be drinking all summer.
No doubt about it, man. That's it. Yeah. I'd say everything in moderation, Ryan. Everything in moderation. Don't overdo anything in life. I usually every year I quit after the Super Bowl. I do football season of heavy drinking during the football season, but then I quit after the Super Bowl to get summer body ready. Get the summer body ready. Wow, you're getting ready in the winter time. Wow, you're getting the summer body ready in the winter. That's dedication. When you drink a lot of beer, you got to work off. A lot of months to go. Yeah. And tell me about the tailgate parties down in Seattle. How are they? Pretty good. Yeah, we go to a lot of games. So the
we always usually stay the whole weekend. We like to go to a Huskies game, the University of Washington game beforehand.
Yeah.
So you see that on Saturday night, and then go to the Seahawks on Sunday.
Amazing. That's the way to do it, man. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, so you get the full day of tailgating also, and you get to tailgate at the college game too, which the college game's way better than the Seahawks.
Oh yeah. The passion in those college games, man. I love college football.
Yeah.
I love college football. Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, so do I.
College basketball too. I love it all. Yeah.
So I'm out of questions, and this has been really great and everything, and I want to thank you for
my
giving
pleasure,
me your
man.
time. Is there anything you would like to maybe plug or promote, or anything you need to put in?
Plug or promote. I haven't had a full-time gig since summer of 2017. Although, you know, and I really love that job. I feel the most rewarding of all the jobs that I've had is being a father / husband. I've been able to dedicate so much of my last 3.5 years to being just that. And, you know, when you're on the go so much, you sort of forget about what your priorities are. And with me, you know, family is everything. It really is. And I've gotten to spend all that time in the last 3.5 years, that quality time with them. And it's been amazing. You know, I'm not saying I'm totally giving up on television or a gig, but I'm very grateful to have been given that time. And I can't plug anything because nothing's in the works right now due to COVID. You know, what I was doing and what I was about to do got shut right down due to COVID. But you know, hopefully once we as a nation and the world gets this thing under control, I'll be back out there doing what I did best. And we'll see. With a little knock on a piece of wood, we'll see what's going to happen. Yeah. But I really appreciate you having me on, and you're doing a great job, man. Continued success on your show. I Only Touch Greatness. I love it. I love what you're doing. I love what you're all about, and you're great at it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a mug, perhaps a hoodie, head on over to IOnlyTouchGreatness.com.
Looking for the most beers on tap, great steaks, great staff? Head over to the John B. Pub.
We got the best beers, steaks, chicken wings, nachos in town. Come see us at the John B. Pub.
The John B. Pub, the best bar in town. Come sign up for our football pool. Say Haze sent you.
Golly, there you go.
Maybe we'll be able to meet up one day at a Lions Ticats game.
Yeah, in the Grey Cup.
Let's do it, man. Oh man, and CFL. Don't you miss your CFL football?
Yes,
what's happening?
Definitely.
I don't even know when. I don't think they're getting things going for this season either. I don't know what the latest is, but
yeah, I'm hoping they do.
I hope so.